Okay, folks, here we are today. We got a bike that we're going to take care of today. This bike I had donated a while back, and one of my local boys, I've got a group of boys that ride around town, and we're kind of like their safe space for them. So they they're in here regularly. The one boy that I deal with every couple of days or so, he comes in, got flat tires, all his bearings loose. I've tried to get the bike fixed up, and I've tried to keep it going, but it's an older it's an older bike that they've kind of scavenged together over the years. So he kind of needed a new bike. So I got this bike here, and as a donation, I'm going to give it a quick once over. I'm not giving it to him. I'm to the point where we really can't give things away the way we like to, but we're going to occasionally. But this boy, he's 10 years old. He needs a new bike. So what we're going to do, I'm going to fix it up. We're going to clean it. But on Saturday, he's going to come. He's going to help me move some 2x4s from where they're at to my storage area. Again, before I have my surgery. So again, he's earning this bike. So hopefully he'll have a little bit more respect for it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you along on the journey of some of the things that we got to do to this bike to make it decently rideable for him. The first thing I've noticed is the brakes. Brakes aren't the greatest, so I'm going to give them a lube. The front brake doesn't work at all. I want to make sure all the bearings are good. That bearing's good. That bearing's good. We're good down here in the bottom bracket. It pedals. The rear bearings are good and tight. The chain needs a little bit of lube, but again, that's something I've got. It's still got part of the chain guard on it, so I'm going to remove that for him. It's small things like that. So let me take you on part of the journey as we're doing this. The big things I want to get done today is I want to take the chain guard off. I'm going to do something with these brake cables to make them a little bit safer so he can actually stop instead of having to use his foot to stop like on his bike right now. So first thing I'm going to do, let's see, where do we want to start? Let's get the chain guard parts off. So I'm going to grab my trusty driver. If it'll reach, nope, it won't even reach. So grab the Phillips screwdriver. And we'll unscrew the screws that hold this on. There's 2 screws back here. And if I remember right, there's a screw underneath the bottom bracket that I got to take out. And again, the only reason I'm taking these off is they are broken. And I don't want him to get hurt. I would replace it with another one if I had one. But right now, I just don't have any others. So we'll take this one off. We'll throw it in the parts bin or the trash bin over here. Make sure we get all the screws off. Again, it's one of them things. I just don't want my boys getting hurt. When it comes to my boys, we know all the parents. All the parents know us. And all the kids that we take care of, they all know we're a safe spot in town. If they're here riding in town and they've got a problem, they don't feel comfortable, they can come by here. We're a safe spot. All the parents know us. If they've got problems with their bikes, they know they can come and see me while they're riding in town. If they've got a problem with somebody or something going on in town, they can stop here. If the boys need a bottle of water or something like that, I try to keep some in the fridge in the shop just for them boys. So again, we do what we can to help our boys. I call them our boys, but they're not our kids physically, but they're the neighborhood kids, they're the local boys. We try to do what we can for these boys. Home lives ain't necessarily the greatest. They're young, so again, it's just, you got to be nice to your kids. It goes back to one of the things that my wife and I talk about all the time called community. A lot of the people over the years have completely forgotten what community is about. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and that's part of it. I mean, it's the community. That's the village. It takes a village to raise a child, and we like to be part of that village. In 2020, when COVID was a big thing, we were Sunday school teachers, And it was one of them things that most of the churches closed down. There's one church that we were attending at that time closed down. So we didn't have our mission, what we were doing to help kids. We didn't have that anymore. So the wife and I decided, let's do something for our community. Let's do something that'll make a difference in the lives of those around us. We were doing pretty good. We felt good about what we were doing. Then the 2022 flood hit, and things went to pot. So because of that, that was when we realized there was a need in our community, basically where we live. There was a need here for some help. So we became like a local community center. We did what we could to help those around us. It wasn't easy. We got pushed every day as to what we were doing. But you know what? We never gave up. No matter what the struggles were, we flowed with it. We ended up making some good relationships with some of the local organizations that have helped us help our community. So it's been beneficial for us, been beneficial for them, because they don't live in this community, but they serve this community. So it was one way for them to be able to serve without having to put the manpower over here. And it's helped us get to know our community. It's helped us get to know the people here in town. What I'm doing here still is I'm still taking the old brake cables off and all of that. I want to strip it down to a point where I can actually see all the parts, make sure the V-brakes, which are on the back of this, I can make sure they're in good shape. The noodle is good. And for those who aren't sure, this is the noodle. It runs from the housing around to the brake arm and allows the cable to have a nice smooth flow that's unobstructed. It doesn't put it on a kink, those types of things. So, again, that's one of the things we do. Because of trying to do this inexpensively, we are not and will not be replacing the gyro cables. I'm just going to run a straight cable like you do on a BMX. These boys are 10 years old. They don't go out and ride flat land and things like that. They're not into the tricks. Their goal is they want to ride from their house with their friends. They want to ride around town, things like that. These boys aren't out there doing anything else besides that. So just make it rideable. They ride with their brother. One group of boys that I have around here, they ride with their brother from their house down to go fishing at their fishing spot. So again, it's not like they got to have this gyro on here. Would it be nice for them? No, they don't need it. And they know that. I've talked to the boy about what he needed in a bike a couple of times before I started on this one. This bike, again, this isn't a bike shop quality bike. This is it's a Walmart bike. But again, if you need something to ride around town, the bike that he's riding now is a Walmart bike that's probably 10 years old, 15 years old. So it's a mess in its own right. So getting him something like this to ride where the brakes work, the tires aren't, the wheels aren't destroyed, things like that, that will help him and his family out a little bit. We had a gentleman down the road a couple years ago. He come in and got a bike for his grandson that he had custody of. And in the time of talking with him and dealing with him, after he got the bike for his grandson, he came up with the issue of other local boys in town were fighting over that bike so they could ride it and take turns riding it. So with his help and my help and the donations from my great group of people that I have that donate bikes for me, when I say great group of people, I've got a couple people who do scrapping for a living. And these guys, when they're out scrapping, they're always looking for bikes for me, things like that. So it's a mutual thing for us. They bring me bikes. I strip them down, get parts off of them that I need, or I use those bikes as a fixer-upper to get a bike rideable for one of the local boys. And in the midst of stripping these bikes down for these boys, I basically micro scrap for the scrapper. I take the stuff off of them, I give them the frames back, some frames, I give the frames back to them so they can still have their scrap stuff. These guys come around every couple months. Unless I get a huge pile of metal or bike parts or stuff like that that I need out of my yard, I'll give them a call, shoot them a message, whatever, and they'll come pick it up. Now, when we first started, I'd take everything that they got. Now it's getting to the point where I'm a little bit pickier with what I got. If it's something that I've got 100 of, like wheels, I've got a stack of wheels out back and fill the bed of a pickup truck. Different sizes, different colors, different styles. I've got all that out back. So if they bring me stuff that's mostly wheels, I just go ahead and tell them to take it back. If it's got tires on it, the tires are in decent shape, no, I don't send that back. I'll keep the tires. Yeah, tires are one of them things that you always need. And have my boys around town, the way they ride, the way they do things, yep, the boys always need a tire. Okay, next thing we're going to do, I've got the front brake off because it's one of them things, it's not really a necessity with these boys. They need one brake. That's all they want. So I'm going to take the grip off. And it's got the ends in it, but the way I like to take the grips off is I've got a small screwdriver. I'll slide that under the grip. Being careful not to run this through my hand like I did 2 years ago. And I've run it through my hand more than once over the years. Slide that as far as you can under the grip. Now you grab your trusty hairspray. Pull up on the screwdriver as far as you can without ripping the grip. Give it a little shot of hairspray under there. Now, before you take the screwdriver out, give it a couple turns back and forth. And the grip slides right off. So, now that the grip's off, we'll take the brake lever off and set that aside. Again, the reason I removed the brake arm, besides just removing the caliper, is this is a spot that can hang up or hurt my kids, hurt my boys. I don't want to be the problem or the reason they get hurt. So we take these things off. So now that's out of the way, it's time to put the grip back on. Now, I've seen people use a little bit of water. I've seen people use a little piece of electrical tape slot and wrap around the bar. But again, hairspray. I like to use, what is this one? This one is a Mega Freeze Extra Hold Hairspray. Want one of them extra holds. Give a little shot in the grip. Give it a little shot on the handlebars. Now, the advantage with using this is once this stuff dries, it's like a glue. But again, it comes off easy. So we'll go from there. Now, let's see. Brake pads are still good and soft. Not too bad there. Chain feels good. The freewheel works good. Let's get a little, let's see. Let's get some brake cable on there. Here at our shop, we buy our cable by bulk. So it works out pretty good for us. We're going to put the end of our cable. We're just measuring right now. We're not cutting. We're not doing any of that yet. We're going to measure about where we want our brake cable, which we're going to mark it right about there. Then I actually have a housing cutter. This looks like HIT as the model. Or the brand. I couldn't tell you much more than that, except for the fact that these have been around. Back when I had my shop back in Maryland. When I had my shop back in Maryland, I closed my shop in 2000 due to some issues. So those have been around a while. Now I have another little tool that I like to use. This tool. This is a spanner wrench or a lock ring wrench. Key here is I give it a little squeeze to straighten it out on the end, and I file the tip down so I can clean up the inside of the housing to where the cable rides through nice and smooth. And I do the same thing on the other end before I put my furrow on. Give it a little squeeze. Now we grab a couple of our furrows and we get ready to go there. Well, I'm going to pause right here for a minute. I got a customer that just rolled up. So we'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, folks, we're going to stop this video right here. We're about halfway through what I wanted to show you guys and talk to you about what we were talking about. We'll continue this next week. So if you want to see the next week's video where we finish this, not this bike, where we finish the bike up to give to one of our boys, hit the like button, hit the follow button, hit that little bell button that notifies you when we post our videos on Sundays, and give us a follow, folks. Again, we're on Facebook, Handicap Manor Bikes and Books. See you up there. We are here on YouTube, Handicap Manor. We are on the Instagram. The wife has her own YouTube channel called Deidre Nicole. Look her up. She's working on videos of shorts of the neighborhood cats and little things like that that are going around. And most of her stuff is going to be shorts. She is promoting her new books on there. So give her a follow while you're at it. We love you, folks. We'll see you on the next video.